The Chicago Bulls get a big lift in the fourth quarter, led in scoring in that fourth quarter by Dosunmu off the bench and Coby White with 12 points and 11 points respectively. And the Bulls are able to get a comeback victory after being down 21 points against the Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into it for tonight, man. The Chicago Bulls are able to get a comeback victory against the Atlanta Hawks. This one was led in a lot of ways based off the energy and effort coming off the bench for the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls are led in scoring by Dosunmu in this game, who's slowly been getting closer and closer to waking up offensively. He did in this game, going 7 of 10 from the field, 2 of 3 from three-point range. He chips in 19 points that led the Chicago Bulls, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block in this game. Dosunmu's energy really helped change the tide of this game for the Chicago Bulls, not to mention Dalen Terry. This is a perfect game for people to watch if they need to understand and have a better grasp on how can you impact the game of basketball without needing to score a lot. And even with that said, Dalen Terry still scored 9 points, but Dalen Terry's energy in making some of the big plays that helped change, create this shift for the Chicago Bulls was a big part of the game tonight, and the Bulls needed that. But they also got 10 points off the bench from Julian Phillips, 10 points off the bench for Jalen Smith as well. The bench players in this game really made such a big difference for the Chicago Bulls. It wasn't all of them. I want to be clear. It wasn't all of them. As far as it wasn't just the bench, but we got to give credit to the Chicago Bulls bench. 48 points off the bench today for the Chicago Bulls. That is huge, especially when you look at the Chicago Bulls and how they give up points. 18 points they gave up off turnovers today as well, which is going to be something that always really harpens this team. We also gave up 64 points in the paint. But really, that 48 points off the bench and the key plays that they were able to make on both sides of the ball in the fourth quarter of this game really made a big difference for the Chicago Bulls. 11 points in the fourth quarter as well by Coby White. You cannot overlook that. 11 points by Coby White in this game. And what we continue to see, and this is something that the Bulls really got to look tough at, is Coby White and Dosunmu are best together when they play more minutes together. But it wasn't just them. You look at the starting lineup as well. Every member of the starting lineup scoring in double-digit points. The Bulls had 8 players to score in double-digit points today. 10 points from Patrick Williams, 18 points from Nikola Vucevic, who also chips in 11 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 assist in this game, 18 points from Coby White. Again, 11 of those points coming in the fourth quarter from Coby. That is huge when you look at that. 18 points coming in 18 points overall for Coby, 11 of those coming in just the fourth quarter. We can talk about Dosunmu and his contributions and the energy from the bench, but you still got to put up points. And Coby White was able to help the Chicago Bulls so much in that fourth quarter. We talked about who's going to step up and be the closer for the Chicago Bulls team with DeMar DeRozan being gone. Coby White, at least tonight, scoring-wise, was that guy, and he was able to really feed off the defense and the energy effort that came from the bench unit overall in this game. 18 points from Zach LaVine as well in his first game back, going 7 of 12 from the field. 13 points from Josh Giddey. Still hasn't got that triple-double yet, but he did get 13 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds in this game, 2 steals as well from Josh Giddey, and he was 1 for 1 from three-point range. In the second half of this game, it was so much better energy-wise. And that was the biggest concern in the first half for the Chicago Bulls, was that they just looked lethargic. They just looked like a team that just not was ready to play basketball. They fixed that today. And, as much, criticism as I threw the Bulls in the first half of this game, the second half, most of those criticisms went away. The Bulls now moved to 4-6 on the season, and we'll see how this thing ends up looking for the Chicago Bulls in the long run. But this was a game that they really need to look at, specifically how they played in the second half. how they played team basketball in the second half of this game. When you look at that team basketball aspect, the Bulls made 23 field goals in the second half of the game. 14 of those were assisted. Now, the Bulls still did have turnover problems throughout all of this game, as we already talked about. 17 turnovers in this game from the Bulls. They got to be better than that. But another energy stat to look at, the 6 block shots from the Bulls today. 6 block shots. That's huge. Again, you're not really stopping them at the rim, but you are doing something. 2 block shots from Patrick Williams in this game. 1 block from Jalen Smith. 1 block from Dalen Terry. 1 block from Julian Phillips. 1 block from Dosunmu. That's what you need from this team. This team is going to have problems with talent on the defensive side of the ball. But if you can make some of those energy defensive plays, it's definitely going to help this team be in games, man. And that's what you're looking for. That's what you're looking for. And so, we'll see how this continues to develop. If this is something that the Bulls can take this and now try to learn from it, right? That's the biggest thing here that you want to see from this team. What do you learn from what you saw today? And can you take what you learned and apply that to start just looking better as a basketball team throughout 4 quarters? If you can do that, hey, the sky's the limit really for this Bulls team. I still hold out my initial thought process as far as I'm just not expecting a lot from this team. My win-loss prediction for this team isn't going to change much, but they gave some really good effort in this game. When you look in the second half, only 6 points from Trae Young. He went 3 of 10 in the second half of this game. Dyson Daniels led the Hawks in scoring with 10 points in the second half. The Bulls were really able to take away what the Atlanta Hawks did well in that first half of the game. Just to flip the script, right? In the first half, the Hawks shot 54% from the field and 42% from three-point range. When you flip that and now look at the second half of this game, the Hawks shot 38% from the field and 20% from three-point range. Now, I know my more pessimistic Bulls fans are going to look at this and say, well, was it the Hawks shooting cold or was it the Bulls defense? If you watch this game and look at it objectively, you'll see the Bulls defense put up some energy today. They gave some much needed energy that they had today. And it was just really good and really important to see that from a team that just lacks so much energy in the first half of this game. I can't stress enough how much different the first half of the game was energy-wise. It was great. It was great. And so that's really good to see as you're really trying to come out of the depths that this team has been in and show, we've seen some good, we've seen some bad, and we've seen some horrible from the Chicago Bulls. Who this team is going to be for the most part of this season is really going to be told about what is the balance of that over the course of the season. And so the bench, if you can get this type of performance from your bench, I'd say if you can even get 65 to 70% of this performance off the bench, you can win some of these games. You can absolutely win some of these games. So this is a good win. The Bulls needed this type of win. And I'm glad that they got it. Now let's go out and do it again, right? Now you got to go do it again. And so we'll see how that's going to develop for this team. Let's see how you guys are feeling about it. Joe the Blacksmith, I attribute this win to controlled aggression from Io, Dalen, and Julian. It radiated throughout the team from there. Yeah, the energy that those guys brought, right? It was so huge. And don't overlook Jalen Smith either, right? Really good energy that we needed from those guys. This Billy Donovan took out Julian Phillips and DT when they were getting us back into the game. Yeah, but listen, here's the thing. I understand a lot of people use that as criticism. They're like, oh, but you took this guy out then. It's like, you got to understand, energy is a thing. This isn't 2K where you could just keep spamming the damn turbo button, right? You players do need, and they expounded a lot of energy to get us in a position to be able to win this game. And so, I think that we needed to bring it home. And so you wanted to try to spell them a couple of minutes if you could, to try to ride this and get us back home and get us the win here, right? Good dub. Hopefully this won't ruin our chances. We're not getting Cooper Flag. The Bulls are not getting Cooper Flag. Let's just be clear. They're not getting Cooper Flag. DT and Julian Phillips are huge off the bench. That's a big fact. 100% big fact in this game, man. You cannot take away from that at all. Those guys played such important roles in this game. Such important roles in this game. Hey, chat, you think in Cleveland streak? Man, listen. If the Bulls are the one that end the Cleveland Cavalier streak, that would just be such harmonization to my ears. Because listen, you guys know how I feel about the city of Cleveland. So I would love to see that. Love to see that. The lineup of Vooch, Zach, Io, Julian, and Dalen is pretty nice. Listen, balance offense, defense, right? Especially when Io is shooting like he is. That's a big part of this as well. And that goes back to kind of the preseason predictions. If you can get an Io Dosunmu off the bench, right, to give you, I say 14 to 15 points consistently on efficient shooting with the defense that he's able to bring, listen, that would really change the dynamic of this team if you're able to get that consistency. Now we'll see if you can, right? I've learned to not count Io Dosunmu out, as most people should tell you. Don't count out Io Dosunmu. He can really do anything when his mind's to it. And we'll see. We'll see. Hats off to Donovan. Made the right calls with substitutions in the second half. You got to give credit to Donovan when he does something right, and he absolutely did it. See, this is how I know MC really doesn't watch basketball. On top of him saying that Ben Simmons equals Bill Russell, to say that Zach Beck got a W in the win column piece, you got to look at Zach LaVine scored 4 points in the second half of this game. 14 of Zach LaVine's 18 points came when the Bulls were getting their ass kicked. Now, this isn't to say that Zach didn't make plays over the course of this game, even in the second half. But listen, you can always tell when somebody doesn't actually watch the game. You can always tell that, because this game was not won because of Zach LaVine. If we're going to say any aspect of this team won the game, it was the bench unit. They won the Bulls this game. They won the Bulls this game. Well, I mean, they won the Bulls this game. Even in years we expected to suck, we still seem to have Atlanta's number. I mean, it is what it is when it comes down to that. It is what it is. Like, we were 18-2 against Atlanta in the last 2 games, and sometimes you just need that game that just puts you back where you need to be, right? And let's see if that's going to be the case. Like, we'll see. Listen, the Bulls still got a tough schedule, right? And they're still 2 games below 500. And we've been here before where we have some wins, but now you got Cleveland on Monday, you got New York on Wednesday, you got Cleveland again on Friday, and you got the Houston Rockets on Sunday. Next week is going to be a wild week for this team. Wild week for this team. So, it is what it is. The dunk and stare down from Io at the end was fire. When Io's playing with some energy, he's such a different player. It's such a different player when he does that. It's really great to see. Really great to see. Wish my cable package had Bulls game. Hey, get the antenna. If you're in Chicago, get the antenna. The ball-headed hole saved us. Come on now. Now, come on. Let's not get carried away here. Let's not get carried away. Come on. What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? The ball-headed hole saved us tonight. He can't save himself. You couldn't save yourself from male pattern baldness. You didn't save the game. You didn't save the game. In his 9 minutes out there on the court. What's wrong with Cleveland? What's right with Cleveland? That's the question. What's right with Cleveland? If we can steal a game from the Cavs, I'm good. Listen, I won't say that I'm good next week, but if the Bulls can, after what happened this week to the Bulls, if they can win against the Cleveland Cavaliers and in the Cavs undefeated streak, that would bring me great joy. It would bring me great joy. The petty side of me would be brought great joy by that. Great win and love the comeback. Would love to see Coach Donovan address the defensive lapses and hold them accountable. That could mean more wins. I think he did hold them accountable, though. Hold on. Wait a second. I don't know if that's getting better or worse. There we go. I hate that it does that little square and square and stays there for so. Move. Go away. I got the big head. Wait a second. This looks like a cartoon. All right, there we go. We're away. I had to fix the focus a little bit. I think that's better. I think it's better. It's difficult when I'm on this side of the camera to fix the focus, but hopefully that helped a little bit. I know I shouldn't be a Debbie Downer, but I don't see us being in Cleveland because although Shay, bro, I've asked you, I've begged you, I've prayed for you. Stop rushing. Spell correctly, my boy. Because although Patrick Williams matches up well defensively at times against Mobley, the Twin Towers are going to kick eat. Going to kick eat. Shay. What the fuck, bro? Like, what are we doing, Shay? What are we doing, bro? What are we doing, Shay? What are we doing, bro? It's crazy, man. It's crazy work, Shay. Get it together, bro. Get it together. Coach Donovan saying we lacked pace and communication most of the game, took too long to course correct, but got there eventually. I mean, that's been a problem for this Bulls team, right? The ebbs and flows have been a big problem for this Bulls team. I agree with you. I've been to both Cleveland and Columbus. If I was going to move to Ohio, it would be in Columbus. Cleveland smells funny. Cleveland is depressing. Cleveland is really, really depressing. It's really depressing. Only the Bulls will beat the Cavs and then lose the next. Oh, yeah. But listen, if the Bulls beat the Cavs, I'm going to celebrate that win first, right? That's just the pettiness of the spirit that I have. If you can end the last unbeaten team in the NBA, listen, I'll take that. I'll take that. Nice win. I do not see anything different with the young hair. He still got baby hair on his head. Yeah, he didn't shave. That was a fake picture. He didn't shave his head. My bad, I'm multitasking. I'm talking shit to Atlanta fan. Meanwhile, I'm typing. Focus on one thing, bro. Focus on one thing, my boy. Get your life together, Shay. Get it together. Cause what, bro? Like the assault that you do on the English language daily is almost as bad as the assault that MC has on people's basketball IQ by saying Ben Simmons equals Bill Russell. It's almost. Listen, they're right there with each other, bro. They're right there, and I expect better of you than that. Now, Billy D did hold them accountable today. When Coby, Pat, and Giddey wasn't playing good in the second and third, he quickly subbed their ass out. Terry and Io changed the energy. Big time. Big time. Dalen Terry. And we got to at some point, right? And maybe I'll talk about it on tomorrow's daily episode. We at some point have to acknowledge how much Dalen Terry actually is an NBA player right now. Like Dalen Terry, as much as like he's looked out of sorts at times in his first 2 years, he didn't look where like he understood where and he had to be in things. Dalen Terry has been playing so good as an energy guy, right? I'm putting it in context. I'm not saying all of a sudden Dalen Terry's like this 6-man candidate or anything like that. By the way, y'all let me know if the focus looks better now after I fix it. But I think overall, Dalen Terry is just starting to hit that stride of, okay, now I understand how and where I can impact the game. And that's a huge thing to be able to do that, right? And he's still an extremely young player. It sucks that we're like halfway through his rookie contract before he's really there. And the Bulls are going to have to make a decision on him. They picked up his 4th-year option. It's going to come sooner rather than later. But Dalen Terry's starting to really start looking like a guy who's going to be able to be a really good role player off your bench. You need energy guys like Dalen Terry coming off your bench. And he's being really good. He's been really good at that. Really good at that. I'm sick and left for a nap after the 7-0 run in the third to start. What the heck happened? The Bulls had a fourth quarter we scored 35 points to their 15 in the third quarter. We outscored them by 20 points in the fourth quarter of this game. That's what happened. The fourth quarter of this game, everything started clicking for the Bulls. Offensively and defensively, everything started clicking for this team. That's what really changed it. Trae got a hair system in after the backlash. That's crazy. Not a hair system. All right, Deadpool. The Bulls' inability to make shots consistently and their non-existent defense makes for a long. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a super long season. Shay says he's mistyping because he's talking shit to Atlanta fan, but he mistyped and misspells every day. That's hilarious. Yo, is he here? Mr. Ben Simmons is equivalent to Bill Russell. Yeah, and he said something stupid again today. And then he knew he said something stupid, and so he said he was out. Focus is good. Thank you, Troy. I appreciate it. The only one who answered it. It seems like the Bulls need to score between 125, 135 points in order to have a chance to win. Let's see something. How many points have the Bulls averaged in wins? I just want to. You just brought something up. I just want to see. Right. I just want to play. Let's see. We'll bite. So 125 in this win, 102 in the other win, 126 in the other win, 133. Divide that by 4. The Bulls average 121 and a half points in their wins. So a little bit under what you said there, but the thing that's bringing it down is they had that win over Atlanta that was 102 to 199. But otherwise, Yeah, you're pretty much spot on. 121 and a half points average per win. That's really difficult to keep up that type of scoring rate, right? Speaking of Cleveland being 11-0 now, I miss the days during the Tom Tibbs era where we used to end winning streaks. Pacers 9 win streak, Miami Heat 27-game win streak, Warriors at home win streak, etc. Yeah, I mean, but listen, that at this point, bro, is like 15 years ago. Let's get out the past, bro. Let's get out the past. JK says, you good. Thank you. You and Troy are the only two that understood the assignment. Can we give, almost said Caleb Williams, Coby White and Io some credit? You know, you could just say Coby. No, you know what, Shay? It's you. Never mind. Keep abbreviating. Credit because to me, I believe that they had to do the most adjusting during their time in Chicago. Oh, yeah, their roles have changed every single year. Every single offseason, their roles have changed. Even coming off their best seasons last year, their roles have changed this season, right? They've adapted the most. Supernatural says Dalen Terry, solid defense overall, solid play overall. Not just the defense, solid play overall. I don't have any more expectations of P. Will, but he looked really confident out there tonight on both ends. And that's all you want from P. Will. That's really all you want from P. Will. It's no longer about the can you turn into the next, and it should have never been about that. But if P. Will, let's just go over this stat line for P. Will. He only took 9 shots, but got 10 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He was plus 11. If he can make that the more consistent, and even if he could just shoot a little bit better than that, if he shoots just 40%, right? 42%, you're talking about a 12-point, 7 rebound, 3 assists, 2 steal, 2 block day. I could take that. Like, and maybe it's just me because now I just look at P. Will as a role player, but I'll take that. It's all P. Will got to do. If somehow the Bulls end up with Ace or Cooper, do you think this team will be a championship contender? I can't. No, it takes so much to be a championship contender. I can't say that. It seemed that more than half of the 11 points Coby got in the fourth were made in the last couple of minutes, where to me the game was already decided, had no impact on the comeback. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. No. Why do you think Billy played that known for 8+ minutes? I don't know. I would have rather see those go to Manas Bucelis. Again, another game with Manas Bucelis. Listen, I'm telling y'all, expect Manas Bucelis to be assigned to the G League by Monday. Just expect it to happen by Monday. Expect it to happen by Monday. I don't think Haize is going to stop flaming MC for the rest of the season. That boy been getting scorched each live because he keeps saying stupid shit. Listen, the Ben Simmons equals Bill Russell is going to forever get him flamed here. Forever. Archangel, because Billy had brain aneurysm and thought, like, that's, and it's crazy. After THT's best game of the season, he gets a DNP, but the ball-headed hoe Javon Carter gets to play. That's crazy. That's crazy work. Is that the new logo for Chicago Bulls Central? Is raw as hell. Hey, listen. I'm just gonna leave that there. We're just gonna leave that there. You think outside of getting picks for Vooch, Levine, whoever goes, you think Acme will get some solid defensive players in return as well? Because this team desperately needs it. I don't know, Melvin. I think at this point, like, if the Bulls get offered picks, first-round picks for those guys, that's the prize. I think other than that, if they get salary cap filler, things like that, they'll take it. But we'll see. We'll see. Keep in mind, for example, Javonte Green was the throw-in in the trade, right? Daniel Tice was the target in that trade. So, and he ended up sticking around on the Bulls longer. So you just never know. You never know. Hoping more players come across from Thurver Flow from what? Shay? Australian Shay? Is that what you're turning into there, Wayne? Come on, let's get it together there. I don't view P. Will as a star or nothing like that, but he can be a solid role player. He still is critical to the success of the squad, but not even close to the degree that he was drafted at. 100% agree with you there. Agree with you there. Are you surprised that Craig isn't getting any tick? No. First of all, he was sick. He wasn't even in this game. But no, the younger players should be playing ahead of him, at least in my opinion. Yeah, I didn't understand the THC DNP by Billy. THC is an impact player as a bucket. I wouldn't say that either. He's not an impact player as a bucket getter, but he is a player that understands what he needs to do off the bench and that can get you some plus minutes for sure, right? Bulls getting Giddy will be an all-time disaster class from the worst front office in the NBA. What? That's in a game where Josh Giddy played and was pretty pivotal in the Bulls win. That's what you come in here and say? Seems targeted there, bro. Yo, I dead ass laughed and thought of this pod when Javon Carter was running, throwing up shots. I said, man, Haize gonna get him. Listen, 0 for 3. Why are you out there? What are you doing, Javon Carter? What are you doing? Are you afraid that Billy would treat Modest like he did Dalen in his first year and not play him, hurting his growth? Yeah, I mean, to a degree, but I think that Dalen Terry and Modest Bucilis are two very different players, so I'm not necessarily worried about it as much. But listen, Modest is a very, very raw player. He just is. I feel Billy should use Modest against Cleveland more. He hasn't gotten that many minutes with other players while other players may be tired tonight, at least 10 minutes, but this is Billy. You never know what's going to happen with Billy Donovan. People had a great defensive showing. Yeah, people had a solid overall night tonight. Solid overall night tonight. Shout out to AK because now people should see that actually do know how to draft and know what they're doing. I mean, I said that at the beginning of the season, right? Like, if Julian Phillips and Dalen Terry, especially with the minutes that they're consistently getting now, you may have to start turning the tide on how we've talked about AK's drafting, right? P. Will is P. Will. He's going to be a solid role player at minimum. He's going to be that. Dosunmu, a still in the second round. Absolute still in the second round. Julian Phillips, he's turning into a very solid role player in his second year, but he's not done developing. Dalen Terry's turning into a very solid role player and understanding his role. And then if Modest Bucilis as well, like we'll see. We'll see. Why does Carter look like the basketball? That's crazy. That's crazy. I learned about this podcast recently, so could you please inform me of the Javon hate lore? I mean, he's just a bad player. We just don't like him. And I think overall is this. So it's my own personal hubris coming against me just to hold myself accountable. I was really, I won't call it excited, but when the Bulls signed Javon Carter, I looked at what he brought 3-point shooting wise and defensively, and I thought it was really going to help the Bulls out. And then he came to this team. He hasn't shot well. He hasn't defended well. He just hasn't been a good player. So therefore, I can't stand Javon Carter. I can't stand the ball head at all. Giddy was traded for the most valuable player on the team. Isn't even closing games. No, I really hate people who focus on narrative rather than basketball. It's huh. The rapid growth of Dalen Terry offensively and defensively has been great to see. It's clearly evident he put the time in with Peter Patton and the rest of the development staff. I agree with you on that one. Yeah, Monas looked nervous out there. It's not the skill, it's the nerve. Send him to the G League for some reps. I still think it's some of the skill. Like, Monas Bucilis still isn't a good on-ball defender. He's still not a really good as far as, like, effective shooter yet. He will be. And this isn't to say that he won't, like, oh, he'll never be this. No, he will be, but he's not that yet. He's just not. And so he is still very raw, very raw. DT also the target young Draymond as the lane. Wait, DT could also target young Draymond as a lane he could occupy on this team. He could both pass, handle, rebound, and bring the energy. Dre carved his own line, albeit with all-time greats. I mean, and that's how you really work it out, right? Like, and people who like look at Dalen Terry and is like, oh, he's not a good shooter yet. Yeah, cool, but you can still be. There's so many other aspects of the game of basketball that you can still be a plus for your team even without being a really good shooter. It's up to Dalen to make that happen, though, right? Like it's up to Dalen to get there. And so Willie, that's the question you got to ask yourself: is will Dalen be able to do enough to get himself to that position? And he's really turning into a really solid defender to where it's like you can see the area where Dalen Terry can impact the game of basketball with his defense. Like, that's not hard to see anymore. And the energy and the getting in passing lanes, like, these are all areas that Dalen Terry can really help a basketball team. Like, and that's not just hyperbole. Like, he can really help a basketball team in those areas. It's just like, you got to ask yourself, how consistently is he going to be able to do it? That's the question you got to ask yourself. And so, I mean, hopefully Dalen's able to keep growing, keep doing what he needs to do, because if he does, yeah, there's definitely a lane for Dalen here. Like, that's not the question. It's not the question anymore for Dalen. So, we'll see what that brings for Dalen Terry. And overall, I do hope that Dalen's able to just keep growing like he has been. Dalen Terry is turning into a very, very solid role player. And there's always going to be a spot for a guy like that. Always. Let's just hope that it can continue. Thanks for the lore, Haize. Appreciate that. No problem. MC, Haize was wrong with his assessment of Javon, so he's ensnaring. See, you can't even spell right. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. That this is the same guy who's talking about eating crow, and you said Ben Simmons is Bill Russell. MC, take the tight ass P. Diddy sweatsuit that you have on in your Avi. It's really hurting your brain development. The fact that you're wearing that tight ass 90s sweatsuit on in your Avi trying to talk about basketball and you have no neck, you need to worry more about that. That's what you really need to worry about. Because you're silly. It makes no sense. Stop, like, you got to get it together, bro. Stop wearing that high fade that ain't working for you, right? Stop trying to cover up your male pattern baldness and get it together. The thought process, you know what's happening? The bad basketball thoughts in your brain are literally eating away at your hairline. It's eating away at your hairline. Like, that's why you look the way that you do. You're holding in all those dumbass thoughts, and they're coming out and manifesting themselves in male pattern baldness. That's what's happening to you right now. You got to ask yourself, why are you jobbing to male pattern baldness? Why is that happening? Why did God look at you and said, your hairline, it got to go. I'm snatching that. You got to get that together, man. You got to get that together. You got to get that together. Points ain't all of basketball, Eric. Don't be a casual. Listen, y'all got to stop. Y'all stop feeding the trolls. Sometimes you just gotta ignore it, man. Get him, MC. You should be ashamed of yourself. MC got that baby oil autograph by Diddy. That's crazy. Autograph. Baby oil is wild. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's wild. That's honestly pretty crazy. MC used THC hairline products. That's crazy. That's crazy. Advanced hair. Yeah. Used to watch Ben's dad and Giddy's dad play on the same team here in Australia. They played for the Tigers with guys. Great times. That's crazy. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Just ignorant. Listen, it's crazy. People are crazy out here, bro. People have bad basketball takes every day, B. Every day, B. Every day. But as Bulls fan since D Rose, definitely not a troll. I mean, that doesn't, being a fan of a player doesn't mean that you're not a troll. Troll is how you go about it, bro. Eric, you trolling tonight, might be. I'm just saying. Come on, man. Get it together. Get it together. I just guessed he was 23. Who was 23? I must have missed the comment there. But all right, y'all, man. We're gonna go ahead and get ready to do what MC's mama should have did and wrap it up. But nonetheless, you are here with us today, and we appreciate you for it. But with that said, man, thank you guys. I'm glad that I'm glad that the Bulls got a dub today, man. We really need it, man. We appreciate it so much. For all the support coming to the channel as well. Y'all make sure y'all stay in tune with this, man. Make sure you guys are following us at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag. Whoa, what happened there? Mailbag is going down tomorrow, so make sure you guys get those voicemails in. I want to hear from all you guys, mainly because we got a dub. Bulls fans are going to be excited. Get those voicemails in. 773 270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, man. Love you guys. Go Bulls. See Red, y'all. Peace. Oh, I guess since we won, we can play the winning outro. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.